Our drooler-in-chief, Joe Biden, much like the groundhog, crawled out of Xi Jinping's ass this past week to tell us there would be at least 2 more years of Democrat-created communism in America. Obviously, the State of the Union speech would have been an excellent opportunity for Biden to pull on his adult diapers and act like a leader, stand up to China, and pretend, if just for one night, that he is in charge of the United States. Biden could have flexed some muscle. He could have warned China that future spy balloons will be shot down or even considered an act of war. Now, if we're honest, these were all things that the Orange Man would have said, and considering all the other rhetoric that he stole from Trump, knowing damn well that these were things the American people really wanted to hear, they were all lies, of course, but why not throw in a few shots at China while we're at it, right? Well, I'm going to assume that it's because he can't be pissing off his master, that's why. Because after all, China's got more dirt on him and his family than Julian Assange had on Hillary Clinton. Anyways, Biden proved to China, and of course to America, that he is nothing more than a useful puppet to his master of puppets Xi Jinping. He didn't mention the balloon. He scowled when Republicans jeered him for the border that he allows to remain open, and the Chinese fentanyl that Biden allows to continue to pour over it and kill almost 80,000 Americans per year. Now, why would Biden, in front of God and everybody the other night, stand down to China so obviously? Well, let's take a look at a few inconvenient truths about Biden's rather cozy relationship with our most formidable foe, Communist China. Personally, I believe and have for a long time that China owns the Biden family outright. But hey, draw your own conclusions, okay? Hell, even the woman in charge of supervising all of his presidential documents is Chinese. But let's follow the money, or yuan in this case, I guess. Thanks to crackhead Hunter Biden leaving his laptop full of evidence in a Delaware PC repair shop, we know beyond a shadow of a doubt, even liberal news outlets are talking about it, that the Bidens have pocketed huge amounts of cash from, among other nations, China. This is not speculation anymore. The Bidens made tens of millions of dollars from China, and every deal involved people with ties to Chinese spies. Joe Biden left classified documents unsecured in his Delaware home where Hunter Biden was living, and he could have easily accessed them, copied them, and distributed them to anyone he liked. Let me reiterate, the Biden family has scooped up millions of dollars from people with direct ties to Chinese spies. This is a very important detail. Communists, they don't make it rain without expecting something in return, a return on their investment. So what has Joe Biden done for the Chinese? Well, for starters, Joe Biden killed the Chinese initiative. The Chinese initiative was a Trump-era mission, a very, very successful one to catch Chinese spies. Now, shockingly, Joe Biden decided to end the initiative because of all reasons, racism. Apparently, Chinese spies were having their feelings hurt or something like that. Secondly, let's take a good look at Chinese fentanyl because Democrats refuse to in any real or serious way. And so that, at least to me, creates suspicion. Joe Biden has very purposely left our southern border wide open. The Chinese make billions of dollars per year on fentanyl that pours over the unguarded border. The Chinese sell it to Mexican drug cartels or gangs, who then prepare it and sneak it back over the border. As I mentioned earlier, roughly 80,000 Americans, many of them teenagers, overdose and die on this fentanyl every year. Biden could shut the border down today, but chooses not to. So many of these overdose deaths are from teenagers who think they are buying a Percocet or a Xanax pill, but have no idea that it's been laced with fentanyl. So roughly 150 Americans overdose on fentanyl every day. That is truly insane. Think about that. While you're at it, imagine the reaction to those numbers of deaths if the culprit was, I don't know, white supremacist MAGA Republicans? Also, another common misconception, your friendly neighborhood drug dealer doesn't want to kill off his clientele. That would be idiotic, now wouldn't it? But the Chinese paid the Mexican drug gangs to lace the pills with deadly fentanyl anyway, or make fake Percocet and Xanax that are full of fentanyl. Gee guys, it's almost like the Chinese want to kill 80,000 Americans per year, all the while making a really good profit on the poison. Think about that. Out of all the drugs Hunter Biden has snorted, swallowed, no doubt injected, why didn't he run into any of this fentanyl? Where's the sense of fairness in the world today? Okay, on to the spy balloon. The Biden administration knew the commie spy balloon was over the Aleutian Islands. They had plenty of time to shoot it down over the mostly uninhabited islands, but chose not to do so until the balloon had traversed the entire nation. Why exactly is that? Our lovely traitor-in-chief could have ventilated that balloon long before it even got to the continental U.S. He could have shot it down over much of Montana as well. Just a little fun fact to throw out there, Montana is the 4th largest state with 147,000 square miles of surface area and is the 8th least populated state in the U.S. Folks, there are millions of square miles where no one is living between Montana and the Atlantic shores of South Carolina. But Biden let the balloon go until its mission was complete. So what have we learned? We've learned that Biden is catering to the Chinese in ways that seem awfully traitorous, if we're being honest. In just 2 years of his presidency, Biden has stopped chasing Chinese spies, allowed China to peddle billions of dollars worth of fentanyl in the U.S., which routinely kills 80,000 Americans, many of them teens. Oh, and he let a spy balloon traverse the entire country. And now for the truly scary part. Members of the federal government have bent over backwards to cover for the Biden family's snuggly and lucrative involvement with these aforementioned Chinese spies. Here's a couple quick examples. The FBI sat on Hunter Biden's laptop for at least a year, choosing not to investigate the Biden family's ties to Chinese money and, of course, Chinese communist spies. The other day, AOC referred to Hunter Biden's laptop scandal as, quote, half fake. That is narrative adjusting, if I've ever seen it. 51 former intel specialists claimed the laptop looked like Russian disinformation. This was done in unison, folks, and explained in an almost word-for-word repeat fashion. That scares the hell out of me. The FBI should have been on Hunter like bees on a can of orange soda in 100-degree weather, but they, astonishingly, began to spy on Rudy Giuliani. Then these ass clowns, meaning the FBI, worked with social media platforms to suppress the entire story and silence any of those folks out there that were willing and wanting to talk about it. Then, of course, the apparatchiks at Twitter, the twisted little bastards. They were happy to shut down the New York Post for breaking the story. Now, is there a word for all this? Well, one word that comes immediately to my mind would be treason. That's a noun. Let's go through the definitions of treason. Number 1, the betrayal of allegiance towards one's own country, especially by committing hostile acts against it or aiding its enemies in committing such acts. Definition number 2, the betrayal of someone's trust or confidence. Definition number 3, a betraying, treachery, or breach of faith. So we all know the Biden family was pimping influence to anyone willing to give Hunter Biden a check. The results be damned. We know that the FBI, the propaganda press, and social media tried to run cover for the Bidens. Are we hip deep in systemic communism yet? The more important and more obvious question is, what the hell are we as a nation going to do about this? In the event of the global Marxist takeover of the nation, don't be the parent who has to look at your child and say, sorry, I was too busy to send a brief email to our representatives in Congress to save our future. Now eat your cricket burger, little boy, and practice your Mandarin before the Ministry of State Security puts a bullet in Daddy's head. Most of this came by way of PJ Media. If you liked it, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Leave a comment down below. There's a PayPal link in the description box, so please put $1 in the bucket on the way out the door. I'd like to thank everyone for all your donations. They're much needed and much appreciated. Now, with all that being said, we'll see you next time.
Come on, move. Move. Easy, easy.